Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. It's another all new news roundup that we've got in store for you today, talking about some of the biggest headlines that are currently buzzing around the world of football. But of course, before we get into all of that, I would like to remind you to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things are always and very greatly appreciated, of course. And for now, let's get into some of the headlines. We of course begin with a developing story that's going off at Chelsea right now, and of course it revolves around one Romelu Lukaku. Allegedly yesterday, both Lukaku and Chelsea held clear the air talks. Of course, it was reported yesterday both parties held clear the air talks because of obviously the controversial interview that the Belgian striker conducted a few weeks ago. That of course came out last week. The 28-year-old conducted an interview which was basically released last week that kind of dragged Chelsea a little bit in the mud, so to speak. Lukaku's true thoughts on his transfer from Inter to Chelsea were revealed in that interview, the move that of course took place in the summer. He also explained how he wasn't completely on board with everything at Chelsea right now, including the manager Thomas Tuchel, his structure, his system, and what he was being asked to do within that team. He went on to explain how he felt he had hurt the Inter Milan fans and that was never truly his intention to do so, and also went on to claim that he would love to return to Italy, return to Serie A, and return to Inter Milan one day as a player, playing at a top level within his career. So you can kind of understand why Chelsea fans were just a little bit upset by that kind of interview and the things that he said. Honestly, it made for interesting reading when it first came out, and it was completely bizarre the way it came out. But of course, it didn't go down too well with Chelsea. As a result, Lukaku was dropped completely from the Blues' big game on Sunday, which of course was that 2-2 draw against Liverpool, and his future had since been called into question. However, yesterday, like I say, both parties held clear the air talks, and from what we can tell, they were pretty positive. The striker is being said to be kept at Chelsea beyond this current transfer window that's open right now and the upcoming summer transfer window. And so you can probably expect Lukaku to be back in the fold of the first team in the very near future. So I have to basically ask this: is this a good thing for Chelsea? I personally thought that they played better on Sunday without him. I thought they even played better without him earlier on in the season, when of course Lukaku was missing through various other issues such as injury and COVID and stuff like that. I thought that Chelsea played better without him in the squad. But that could just be the type of opposition they were playing. That could also be the reaction to this whole Lukaku thing that inspired a Chelsea team to play a little bit more excitingly and better than what they had been doing all this season on Sunday. So it's tricky to judge, but I just want to ask the Chelsea fans, I want to know, do you welcome him back? Do you think that you have completely got rid of him? Or do you think that you're going to reserve judgment and see if he tries to win you back with his performances on the pitch? I want to know. Get your comments in down below in the comment section, because I really want to know what your opinion is of this, and after the clear the air talks, of course. We're going to be sticking with Chelsea for our next story, because this one, it revolves around the defender known as Antonio Rudiger. The German centre-back is out of contract with the Blues at the end of the season, of course, and because he's entered the final 6 months of his contract, it means that he is free to begin pre-contract negotiations with foreign clubs. Now, reportedly yesterday, Real Madrid, PSG, Bayern Munich and Juventus have all open talks with Rudiger's representatives over a free transfer when his contract does expire come the summer. But they aren't the only ones allegedly interested in signing him, as reportedly Manchester United and Ralf Rangnick in particular is very keen on signing the 28-year-old. Personally, I think if the Real Madrid rumours are true, I think Rudiger would prefer to go to the Spanish Giants in all honesty, but don't rule out Bayern Munich simply because it might be a chance for Rudiger to go home, so to speak, return home to Germany. I mean, it seems that Rudiger will have no shortage of options at all when it comes to deciding where his future lies for when his contract does expire. And from one Chelsea defender to another, we turn our attention now to Thiago Silva, who has signed a new contract at Stamford Bridge. The 37-year-old was set to be out of contract in the summer, but he has signed a new one-year contract extension with the Blues, keeping him at the club until the end of the 2022-23 season. Silva was signed in 2020, of course, and has helped the Blues go on to become European champions by winning the Champions League last season after becoming a regular starter under manager Thomas Tuchel. I believe his leadership, his mentality and his defensive qualities, as well as his attacking qualities, particularly from set pieces, are a valuable asset for Chelsea to have. And despite his age, I really do think that this is actually a smart piece of business by the Blues to keep him for at least one more year, especially with the Rudiger situation playing out as what it is right now. Elsewhere last night, Wolves beat Manchester United by a 0-0 at Old Trafford. João Moutinho got the only goal of the game and proved to be the difference maker on the night as Wolves beat United for the first time at Old Trafford in 42 years. Wolves were great last night. Simply put, Wolves were really, really good last night. They won that midfield battle. They were strong defensively. They threatened a few times. They forced David De Gea into making a few good saves like he has done throughout most of this season. But for De Gea, it just wasn't enough. And whilst United were extremely poor, they had a brief 5-minute spell in the second half when Bruno Fernandes came on, in which they hit the post because of him, and also Cristiano Ronaldo had a goal ruled out for offside. They didn't really threaten Wolves or trouble them in the slightest. They were poor, extremely poor. They looked disjointed. Their decision making was terrible. They played like a group of individuals rather than as a team. And to cap it off, the big talking point before the game even kicked off was the inclusion of one Phil Jones in the starting 11. And he arguably walked off that pitch last night as United's best player. So that really does speak volumes in a lot of ways. However, the bottom line here that we should be talking about, whilst United were poor, we should really be talking about the winners. And of course, Wolves were exactly that. We should be focused on what was a great 3 points picked up by Wolves last night. A brilliant win for Bruno Lage's side. And I've got to say it, if they could find a consistent enough goal scorer, there's no telling how far or how further this Wolves side could go, because they are so good defensively. They play some nice football at times. But if they could just find a consistent enough goal scorer, they really could push even further up the league than what they are right now. They're having a great season, Wolves, kind of going a little bit under the radar in my opinion. But there's no telling how far they could go with a consistent enough goal scorer. But fair play to Wolves. And finally, a bit of old news, but it's worth talking about here. Newcastle United are seemingly on the verge of making their first signing of their new ownership in the form of Kieran Trippier. The England right-back has been heavily linked with a move away from Atletico for some time now, and a return to the Premier League has looked on the cards for a while, with both Manchester United and Newcastle both reportedly interested in signing him. But it seems that the Magpies are set to land their target in the very near future, as reports state that confirmation is very close to being delivered by the club. If this is to all go ahead, get over the line, then personally I see it as a smart piece of business by Newcastle. It's nothing too overly exciting or flashy. It's not a really big superstar name, with all due respect, but it is a player who's decent enough in the position that he's in. He's well experienced, both in terms of being a right back and in terms of being in the Premier League, and also with the England setup and so on and so forth. He's a good threat going forward. His delivery and crossing is obviously a particular strength and asset of his. And of course, he's a well-known set-piece taker as well. So I think all around, this is actually a very good piece of business by the Magpies to have done here, should this, of course, get all over the line and given the green light and everything. And of course, due to the takeover that happened last year for the Magpies, the rumours are going around, the Newcastle sort of rumour mill of who they will sign coming forward. obviously a never-ending. It seems Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is the latest player to be linked with a move to Newcastle, a move to St James's Park in the near future. Whether that happens or not remains to be seen. It's being said that the club that are currently struggling and battling relegation could be looking set to add at least 4 new faces to their squad come this transfer window. So it makes a change for Newcastle fans. Usually they're in for a quiet transfer window, but that definitely doesn't seem to be the case this time around, as interesting and exciting times do look ahead and seem to lie ahead for Newcastle United. But of course, as I always say, these are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of any of the topics that I talked about in this video? What do you make of the whole Romelu Lukaku situation? What do you make of the Antonio Rudiger saga? Where does his future lie within football? Are Chelsea fans happy with the contract signing of Thiago Silva, the new contract signing of the Brazilian centre-back? What did you make of Manchester United and Wolves' performances last night? And what do you make of the whole Kieran Trippier situation, of him potentially going to Newcastle very, very soon and having that deal all done and confirmed? I would love to know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, whatever you want to call it, on these particular topics down below in the comment section. Making them short, it will make for interesting reading. Otherwise, hit that like button on the way. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Both things will always and probably be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see you all again soon in another video.